Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, your team's home base. Collaborate within a shared PDF space. You've got your docs, your plans, your specs, and then invite the crew to build what's next. They talk up the teamwork. Use an updated render. They think that this design could be a contender. And when somebody wonders what's the next step, AI helps you finish the rest. Bolts are tight, now your plan's refined. Run a smoother business when you're all aligned. Do that with Acrobat. Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-Acrobat.
Welcome back to Fine Tuning with Drew Taylor, your one-stop shop when it comes to animation news and commentary. I'm entertainment writer Jim Hill, and Mr. Taylor, whose writings on the industry you can regularly read over on The Wrap, and whose musings on the Mission Impossible movies you can still listen to on Light the Fuse, the official Mission Impossible podcast. Well, Drew, you're headed to Palm Springs this weekend, right? Is you?
I am. Oh. Yeah, it's both my wife and my birthdays this weekend, so we are just hanging out with the dog and unplugging for a few days, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, you two have earned a break, so enjoy. So this is why we're actually recording the news portion of this week's show earlier than usual, folks. We're doing this on Thursday night, February 26th. But that said, there's still a surprising amount of animation-related news to share already. For example, we're going to get a physical media release of K-Pop Demon Hunters, which just does not typically happen. In fact, it hasn't happened at all for animated films over on Netflix, right?
Yeah, this is the very first one. Mm-hmm. We do not have a Leo disc or a Ultraman Rising disc or anything else. The only one that has come up has been Pinocchio, mm-hmm. which was also put out on Criterion.
Okay.
So I am very excited about this news because as you know, Jim, I am the king of physical media, and I am so excited for this.
I follow in your wake, and let me just put out there that they're starting to do this. Klaus, back from 2019. I mean, a holiday film. In fact, they did a wonderful making of book for that. How about giving Klaus a little Criterion love?
Nimona. I mean, there's a lot that I would love to see.
You're not wrong about Nimona too. That would be cool. Okay. Well,
when I go over to Netflix and start their home video division, since they've got some extra cash around, they didn't buy Warner Brothers, so I think they can probably bankroll it. Yeah.
I mean that was the thing, folks. Drew and I were setting up to record tonight, so again, he and Katie could skate out the door and go, enjoy their birthdays in Palm Springs. But as soon as I saw that news come through about, Netflix, stepping back, not upping their bid, I thought, well, I just lost Drew for the evening. So,
don't worry, Jim. I'll still be working all night on other stuff. So it's all good.
Was there any indication this was gonna go this way? Because didn't the head of Netflix meet with Trump just yesterday? He was in Washington.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened behind closed doors. I'm sure we'll get the full story in the next few days of what happened. Mm-hmm. But
okay,
it's crazy. I don't. We'll see how it plays out. But going from 5 studios to 4 is not good for anybody. Really.
No, it is not. But but on the other hand, a historic studio owns a historic studio. So, all right, we'll see what happens there. Speaking though of K-Pop Demon Hunters, again, we're recording on Thursday the 26th, but on Wednesday the 25th, the Visual Effects Society gave out its awards, and K-Pop Demon Hunters continued its run this award season. It got Outstanding Animation Award for Outstanding Animation Animated Feature, Outstanding Character in an Animated Feature, and this was for Rumi, the half demon character in K-pop Demon Hunters. I just spoiled the film for the five people.
I think everybody's seen it 100 times.
There we go.
Jim,
All
so.
right. Can't spoil something that the entire world has seen at this point. And then there was an award for Outstanding Effects, Simulation, and Animated Feature. So you toss those three VES awards on the pile with the 10 Annies and the Grammy, not to mention the 2 Golden Globe Awards. So you kind of get why Criterion might be, all right, maybe we'll do this. But it's also worth pointing out that, and you just mentioned Guillermo's Pinocchio, get the physical media, but Guillermo is also getting a little love from Criterion for Netflix production, right?
Correct. Yeah, Frankenstein is getting a Criterion release, and from what I understand, there will be a longer version on the home video version too. So
cool.
Yeah, I loved Frankenstein, so I'm very excited about this.
Though, did you see that? In fact, this is what you got to love about the age we live in. That evidently film purists out there, began grumbling online that Criterion had done this. I mean, again, Criterion, which is noted for its wonderful, versions of historically significant, highly acclaimed films, and the notion that, you're doing K-pop Demon Hunters, it's just popular, and it's like, yeah, it's popular, but on a scale unforeseen.
And it's also a huge artistic achievement. And also, it's going to get little kids and younger people into physical media. So shut up. And lastly, Jim, The Rock is part of the Criterion Collection. So, let's just all take a deep breath, okay?
Wow. Okay. Well said. Speaking of physical media, though, and I think we may have talked about this in passing on last week's show, but I was trying to set up my copy of Zootopia 2, which, by the way, physical media of it goes on sale the day this podcast goes live online, Tuesday, March 3rd. But it really is sold out at a lot of retailers now.
Is this the 4K or the
4K Steelbook?
Okay.
But I was fascinated to see that though I guess on the heels of the other news, for this Byron Howard, Jared Bush film, that just broke, that it just passed a Minecraft movie at the domestic box office, right? So it's a top earner in North America for all of 2025, right?
That's correct. And that, Jim, that makes it the second year in a row that the number one movie of the year is an animated movie, because in 2024, it was obviously Inside Out 2. Mm-hmm. And so y'all got to respect, Okay. It's like Jim and I we're doing the podcast that everybody should be listening to. You know what I mean?
There we go.
I'm just saying.
Okay. That said, though, that again, I want to make sure that, folks out west, if you are doing any moderating or panels of that sort of thing in the coming week, they're aware and seek you out. So, again, I know this is award season and they call it the last minute and all that, but anything coming up for the next week or so?
No, but I just had one the other day, Jim, where I talked to most of the Academy Award nominated filmmakers for animated shorts.
Oh.
And Ugo also joined us, who is the writer-director of Arco. Mm-hmm. So we had a great chat all about animation and animated films, and it was lovely. And it was a really, really nice chat. And I thank everybody who came out. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, we have more news, folks, but before we get to that, we have to take a sec here to acknowledge our sponsor, and that is, of course, unlockmagic.com, the go-to place for the very best deals on theme park tickets. And if a Disney or Universal trip is anywhere on your radar in 2026, Unlock Magic helps you lock in great ticket prices without the stress. All handled by people who really know the parks and know how to save you money. And if you're starting to think, okay, maybe this is the year that we finally go, head to unlockmagic.com to get the very best ticket deals and then, make that future trip just a little bit more magical. Although, since we're talking about theme parks, I wanted to find out, did you see that thing about the Once Upon a Studio, inspired a redo of Disney animation, how the animation drawing demo is going to be done by Olaf?
Yes, I had maybe been tipped off about an Olaf animatronic, but I wasn't sure where it was going to be exactly. And the fact that it's well, Jim, there's two parts we should talk about: the Olaf animatronic, but also the fact that the teachers for the animation portion are going to be like our friend Eric Goldberg, Trent Corey, my good buddy, who's directing Frozen 3 right now. A lot of really talented artists are going to be in the video that are going to be teaching you how to draw these characters. And I have to assume, Jim, that there's going to be somebody walking around kind of keeping an eye on everybody, but I don't know. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not, but I love the fact that now, because it's like 10 different pros from Disney who have actually worked on these characters, who's filmed these things. And the beauty part of it is it's going to be evidently entirely random, which, though I have to say, there's one of them in there where it's somebody who drew Olaf, and it's just sort of like, I want to be in the room to see, where the person who gives the directions about how to draw Olaf, what they do with the animatronic then,
what the interaction is there.
It's just sort of like, make my butt smaller. But again, we got to reach out to Mr. Gad and find out, what it was like to work on this one, because.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you saw that it was based on that short moment in the short where he's at the animation desk. So
yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I love that moment in Once Upon a Studio, if only because, again, they found that outtake by Robin Williams, who is Josh's hero. And so you have, his character that he voices interacting with his hero, Robin Williams. And then the cherry on the sundae is, if you're paying attention to the people going by in the corridor, you get the little lost boy that Robin did in the Back to Neverland movie for Disney MGM.
It all comes full circle, Jim.
Okay, now, but speaking of which, MGM opened in May of 1989, and just a few months after that, we got Kiki's Delivery Service, the beloved Hayao Miyazaki movie that first went out into theaters summer of '89. This one is about the young witch and her talking cat Gigi. Well, that's coming back to theaters, and this is a really big deal, both figuratively and literally, folks, because this is G-Kids collaborating with IMAX, right, for a 4K presentation of Kiki's Delivery Service.
Absolutely. And so, obviously, Jim, I've got the 100-yard stare, and I'm saying, oh, there's a new 4K restoration. Are we going to get a 4K disc, perhaps, in the future?
We can.
You know how I do, Jim.
We can only hope. But just want you to mark that on the calendar, folks, there, that arrives in theaters, this special large format presentation, Friday, March 13th.
Jim, that's a Friday the 13th. I'm getting too scared. Oh, my goodness.
Well, and again, Friday the 13th associated with with bad luck, bad news, and our next thing, not bad news, but kind of sad news that Smiling Friends, which ended its third season on Adult Swim back November 30th of last year, and everything seemed teed up for a continuation of the show, though we just got news this past week from Michael Cusack and Zach Handel, the creators of Smiling Friends, that this is it, right? That they're feeling burned out, and so with the exception, I guess, of what they're calling 2 straggler episodes, which, by the way, while we're putting things on the calendar here, folks, that's going to debut on Sunday, April 12th. But had you been tipped off about this in advance at all?
No, I hadn't. I mean, it sounds like it really was a genuine sort of spur of the moment decision. Jim is referring to the fact that they actually had ordered seasons 4 and 5 already. Yeah, but I'm happy that they're ending it on their terms. I am sad for the animators that are now out of work that probably thought that they had job stability for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But
and it just, this people need to remember that Smiling Friends, I mean, the pilot debuted, what was it? It was April of 2020. I mean, we are literally 6 weeks into the pandemic shutdown. And then, here's this goofy little show about this office where, the whole point is, these people are trying to make people feel better in the world. And it was a life preserver at a really dark time. And anyway, it got picked up for, the series got greenlit in 2019. Season 1 debuted the following year, and there were three seasons of 8 episodes each on Adult Swim. And like I said, they had these 2 straggler, and I guess the original plan, this was going to be these other 2 episodes were going to be in season 4, but now they're again bowing on the 12th. And by the way, this may not actually be the end of the show. I want to say it's Michael, who did an interview with Variety earlier this week, who mentioned that when we went to Adult Swim and told them we were feeling burned out, they said, well, if you're not feeling like making a cartoon, we're not going to stop you. Go have a break. Either come back or don't. And that's the other thing. We could come back in the future and make more episodes if we want, if we feel like it. And they've been super cool and said that we could do that. So who knows? So, and again, Drew's not wrong. You feel bad for the animators and all the people who worked on we're going to work on season 4 and season 5. But, here's hoping that, Cusack can handle, they too go to Palm Springs and have a lovely time and regroup and maybe bring back the show sooner than expected. All right, and but again, that those episodes bow on Sunday, April 12th. And again, if you're putting animation-related things on your calendar, please note that Crunchyroll is sending, and this is a real title, folks. I swear to God, Drew found this. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie, subtitled Tears of the Azure Sea. And Drew, did you get to see the first movie of The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Scarlet Bond, when that went out into theaters in, what was that, back in January of 2023?
I did not. I know that this is part of a long-running franchise, that the first 3 seasons are on Crunchyroll, and the 4th premieres in April.
It does.
I believe.
It does. April 3rd. Another thing to put on your calendar here, folks. But the film, the second film in the franchise, that shows up in stateside theaters on May 1st. So, again, I got lots, just amazed that we got this much animation news already on a third Thursday night. And all right, so that's going to do it for the animation-related news portion of this week's show. And the feature, to be honest, I don't know what it is yet. But I'll figure it out. We'll go to break now, and by the time we come back, I'll have an idea. But for now, we're going to wave goodbye to Drew because he and Kate are headed to Palm Springs, and have a lovely time. And we'll actually talk a little bit later in the show. But before that, there's this. And we're back. And it's now Sunday, March 1st. Drew and Katie are now in Palm Springs with Nova, the Wonder Dog. Where the high today in that part of the country is supposed to be 95 degrees. Meanwhile, back here in southern New Hampshire, Nancy told me earlier this morning that the forecast calls for the temperatures to dip down into the single digits, 6 degrees to be exact. So, I feel like I'm being punished for some reason. Oh, wait. I know the reason. We got a comment on last week's show from Mom Tate. This was posted over on an Apple podcast where she basically said that she was very disappointed in the way that Drew and I had talked about some of the folks who were competing in this year's Winter Olympics, to be specific, the female ice skaters and those who were looking to medal in curling. And all right, I just wanted to offer a quick apology. Mr. Taylor and I weren't looking to be offensive. We were just looking for a somewhat silly but still kind of newsworthy way to kick off the show. And look, trust me on this, Mom Tate. I know how hard ice skaters work. Nancy used to be affiliated with the Skating Club of Boston, and so I have spent far too much time in freezing cold arenas as I accompanied her to ice skating competitions, and it would always make me a little crazy to see these hugely talented young athletes get dinged by the judges for, well, they flutzed when they were trying to lutz, and yes, flutz is really a thing. Look it up. As for curling, look, I live in New Hampshire, which was basically almost Canada. I mean, hell, when you enter the Grand Estate coming across the Massachusetts border, New Hampshire literally has signs that say "Welcome" as well as "Bienvenue," and that's because, well, according to the last census, more than 20% of the folks who live in New Hampshire have some French or French-Canadian heritage. So, believe it or not, this is actually curling country. In fact, just one town over from here, the Merrimack Valley Curling Club, they meet at the Nashua Country Club. They're there every Sunday night, Tuesday nights too, playing the roaring game, telling those working the brooms to hurry hard, So, at least in this case, the comments that I myself made on last week's show was trying to affectionately make fun of something that I sort of kind of know something about, but again, my apologies if that somehow offended. And while I'm owning up to mistakes, given that it's now March, well, I wanted to apologize for not letting fine-tuning listeners know about what we're about to talk about back in February, which was when Huzz, Drawn to Life, first began airing on PBS stations around the country. And Huzz is, well, this terrific new documentary by Don Hahn that then shines a spotlight on the life and career of Ron Husband, who was the first African-American animator to work at Walt Disney Animation Studios. And yes, I know, Floyd Norman, friend of the show, by the way. I've known Floyd now for, at least 25 years. He actually used to write a weekly column for me over on Jim Hill Media. And boy, Mr. Norman has some absolutely killer stories. But anyway, Floyd began working at Disney Studios back in the 1950s. I want to say he started in-betweening on Sleeping Beauty, but it was Walt himself who reportedly decided that Floyd's real talent didn't lie in animating, but rather in storyboarding, which is why Mr. Norman got booted upstairs and became a story man at Disney Studios instead. But anyway, back to Huzz now. This brand new documentary takes a look at Ron Husband's 38-year-long career at Disney, and a lot of Ron's contemporaries. We're talking modern animation masters like Glenn Keane, Andreas Deja, John Musker, Kirk Weisinger, Gary Trousdale. They all share their thoughts about Huz and what a huge impact he had on the 18 animated films that Ron worked on during his multi-decade stint at Disney. Anyway, the reason I'm apologizing about this today is that I'm getting to the party kind of late here. Huz Drawn to Life debuted on PBS as part of their Black History Month programming, which means now that we're entering March, well, you may not have access to this terrific documentary. Now, that said, I was just over at pbs.org, and as of right now, Huz Drawn to Life is available for viewing over there. But I'm not entirely sure how much longer this terrific film, again, from Don Hahn, is going to be available. So don't miss out, kids. Head on over to pbs.org today and go check out Huz Drawn to Life. And speaking of something you really shouldn't miss, especially if you live out in LA or those environs, Drew and I talked on last week's show about Dana Terrace, creator of Owl House, that terrific animated series that ran on the Disney Channel from 2020 to 2023. Well, Dana's next project, The Knights of Guinevere, the pilot, which comes to us from Glitch Studios, is now actually available for viewing over on YouTube. Just watched it today, and holy cow, this thing looks great. I mean, I gotta warn you, if you're a Disney fan, not entirely sure how you're going to feel about Knights of Guinevere, which is set on Park Planet, because this show, kind of right from the get-go, seems to not be a fan of the Disney parks or the whole Disney princess thing. But me, oh my God, I love the look of the show, the writing. Again, it's just a pilot, but oh boy, Knights of Guinevere looks like it has huge potential, which is why I'm hoping that Ms. Terrace achieves her crowdfunding goal here and is then able to put a full season of this new animated series into production. Now, I mentioned this whole out in LA thing because at Gallery Nucleus on Saturday, March 21st, they're going to be hosting a panel and signing where Dana herself will be on hand to talk about the Knights of Guinevere. And by the way, Gallery Nucleus will also be hosting an exhibition related to this new animated series that runs from Sunday, March 22nd through April 5th. Which, again, in and of itself is a great reason to drive on out to Alhambra. Before I forget, tickets for this Knights of Guinevere panel and signing actually do go on sale, tomorrow, Wednesday, March 4th, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're a Dana Terrace fan, you definitely want to head over to the Gallery Nucleus website tomorrow and make sure that you snag some tickets to that presentation. By the way, if you can't make it but still want to support this project, you can head over to KOG.store. And KOG, of course, stands for Knights of Guinevere. This is the online shop that's supporting the launch of this series. And man, there's lots of really great looking plush and pins, pin versions of Andy, Gwen, and Frankie. Not to mention a great hardcover book that features the art from the pilot of Knights of Guinevere. I will be ordering one of those for myself. It's a limited edition sometime later today. On the other hand, if you're on the East Coast, and if you're down in Orlando anytime between now and May 3rd, you might want to make a special trip over to the Orange County Regional History Center. That's where they're presenting Drawing Magic, Walt Disney Feature Animation, Florida. This exhibit takes a look at that animation studio that operated at Disney MGM Studios from May of 1989 through the late winter of 2004. And artists and animators who worked there made Disney classics like Mulan and Lilo and Stitch, not to mention making significant contributions to acclaimed full-length animated features from Disney's second golden age, like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And by the way, we're just talking about that Dana Terrace panel and signing. Well, this coming Sunday, March 8th, between 1 and 2 p.m., the Orange County Regional History Center in downtown Orlando will be hosting a panel where Disney Feature Animation Florida veterans will be looking back at that studio. And among the folks who are expected to take part in this panel, producer Pam Coates, director Barry Cook, lead animator Aaron Blaze, and Dominic Carolla. And I got to say, it's kind of killing me that I won't be able to be down there for this. I'm betting that Pam, Barry, Aaron, and Dominic will have some absolutely great stories to share about their time in the Goldfish Bowl at Disney MGM. But again, just a reminder, this Walt Disney Feature Animation Florida panel is being presented at the Orange County Regional History Center in downtown Orlando, Sunday, March 8th from 1 to 2 p.m. And advance registration is required. Okay, so just a review. I have now apologized to Mom Tate for offending her, as well as making you aware of some cool animation-related stuff that's happening in March that you can do on both coasts. Let's take a quick break here, and that'll be back with even more animation-related news.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
And we're back. Again, I feel like I'm apologizing on this entire show, but it just occurred to me that we are doing things a trifle bass-backwards on this show. I mean, for example, we normally talk about the North American box office numbers in the first third of the show, and are just now getting to this today. But again, some of that is because we recorded, or the stuff I recorded with Drew, we did on Thursday. And now it's Sunday, and now we have these numbers, which tells us that Scream 7 came in at number 1 domestically, with an estimated 64 million worth of tickets sold in North America. And by the way, that's the highest opening weekend ever for this film franchise. The first Scream was released to theaters back in December of 1996. So this year, later this year, is the 30th anniversary of the launch of the franchise. And by the way, who out there remembers that the first 3 Scream movies were actually released by Disney through their Dimension film division, which was, of course, part of Miramax. And those were ours, folks. The first one was an R, and, well, the one that just came out was an R as well. By the way, the original sold $103 million worth of tickets in North America, with an additional $70 million overseas, so worldwide box office of $173 million. Most recent film in the series, Scream 6, released to theaters March of 2023. That did $108 million in North America, additional $58 in overseas, so worldwide gross of, what is that, $166 million. And Scream 7 has sold $32 million worth of tickets overseas, already at $97 million worldwide. So it's trending right now that it'll do better globally than Scream 6. On the other hand, GOAT, that new animated film from Sony Pictures Animation, number 2 at the box office, starting its third week in theaters, sold $12 million worth of tickets this past weekend domestically. Box office total to date, $73 million in North America, $56 million overseas, worldwide gross of $130, so not terrible. And in the number 10 position, bottom of the chart, is Zootopia 2. 14th week in theaters. Just 1.4 million in North American ticket sales. So domestic box office cum, what is that? 425.8 million. On the other hand, if we're looking worldwide, that's 1,859 million. And Disney is still hopeful that this Byron Howard, Jared Bush movie will make an additional 41 million overseas so that Disney can then say that this Zootopia sequel made 1.9 billion worldwide, which would be 900 million more than the original Zootopia made back in March of 2016. Oh, and again, just a reminder that the Blu-ray, DVD, and the 4K high-def version of this Walt Disney Animation Studios production goes on sale, well, today, the day this podcast goes live, Tuesday, March 3rd. And just a reminder, this coming Friday, March 6th, Pixar's Hopper arrives in theaters, and my co-host, Mr. Taylor, has already gone on the record as saying that this Daniel Chong film is the funniest thing that Pixar has produced in years. What I don't find amusing is I just went to the Disney Store online, and they have absolutely zero Hoppers-related product available for purchase. Now, to be fair, went to Target and Target online, and they have a bunch of T-shirts, but no plush. Now, whereas Amazon actually has plush. In fact, they have a King George working out plush that supposedly talks and moves for $32.99. Like to see that in person, I guess. But again, just normally Disney does huge retail programs for Pixar. And I point this out because The Mountain, which is the 9th studio album by the British virtual group Gorillaz, this just got released last week, Friday, February 27th. And if you go to the official Gorillaz page, they've got a ton of new merch that they've just released to support The Mountain. And speaking of supporting this album, for animation fans, the thing that will probably most intrigue you folks is the new Gorillaz 2D short, The Mountain, the Moon Cave, and the Sad God. This is done in 2D. In fact, it's got beautiful hand-painted backgrounds, and this 2D short has lots of nods to Disney's 1967 release, The Jungle Book. So if you got 9 minutes, do yourself a favor and check out this animated short. Again, it's called The Mountain, the Moon Cave, and the Sad God. By the way, directed by Jamie Hewlett, who co-founded Gorillaz back in 1998. It has some genuinely great design and some really lovely animation. Let's see. One last story as we start to head out the door here. Last week, news broke that 20th Television Animation is now working with Sony Pictures Television on a brand new half-hour animated comedy series for Hulu called Swap Meet. Now, logline for this new animated series describes Swap Meet as a show that follows down-on-his-luck Ralph, who works for the Cortezes, who are his aunt's brash, proudly blue-collar Mexican-American family who work all sorts of different jobs at the Eastgate Swap Meet, which is this delightfully low-rent retail paradise with an infinite number of goods and services available for purchase. So I have to say that sounds like a fun setting for a TV show, and a promising premise for a new animated series. So here's wishing the Swap Meet production team the best of luck as they get this new show for Hulu up out of the ground. And now, through the magic of editing, hey, look who's back. Drew Taylor, my co-host.
I'm here. I'm here.
And any last-minute animation-related news or any projects we can talk about? Because I know you're working on something.
Nothing as of yet, but there will be more news to come. But I just wanted to thank you all. And do you want me to tell you where people can find me on social media, Jim? Is that the next thing?
Absolutely.
On Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Drew Tailored. And then, Jim, where can the good folks find you?
Well, they can find me on Instagram and X as Jim Hill Media, and then over on Facebook as Jim Hill Media News. I also want to remind folks that, Drew, again, has, that amazing podcast that he did with Charles Hood, Light the Fuse, which, just does a spectacular job of, looking at the Mission Impossible movies, produced by Paramount Pictures, soon to be the owners of Warner Brothers. Nearly 300 episodes in the archive over there, well worth checking out. And speaking of things worth checking out, we have some other podcasts here at Jim Hill Media, Disney Dish with Len Testa, Epic Universal Podcast. I do that with Eric Hersey. Likewise, I Want That Too. That's our Disney merch podcast. We also just published a brand new Disney Unpacked, where Jim Schul looks back at the creation of Rock and Roller Coaster, that thrill ride just closed at Disney's Hollywood Studios, for a Muppet-themed related retheme. And by the way, did you see where your comment about there are other scripts being written for the Muppet Show, the internet blew up when you shared that?
I did see that. I did.
Okay.
You never know what'll do it, Jim.
No, and speaking of which, I know we are in renewal green lighting season. Do we have any news to share with the class there? Is it looking hopeful?
No, I haven't heard anything, but you saw that the numbers were really solid on both Disney Plus and ABC. So I think I'm feeling good about it, Jim, but I haven't heard any word officially or otherwise.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Let's all light a candle then for Kermit. All right. So with that, folks, I think that's going to do it for this week's show. So thanks for listening, and Mr. Taylor and I will be back soon.